Hello students, myself Monotosh Dey, your English helpline on the go. Today I shall discuss a poem from Flamingo of Standard 12. The poem under discussion today is My Mother at 66, written by Kamala thus. First, I will highlight on the biography of the poetess, which will be followed by the discussion of the theme, stanza-wise explanation, recapitulation, and poetic devices. So, dear friends, let's begin. Kamala thus was born on March 31st, 1934 in Thrissur district of Kerala. The writings of her mother had a great impact on her. Her writings reflect on the wide range of relationships like a daughter, a wife, and a mother. She had published her works in English and Malayalam under the name Madhavi Kutty. Her works also reflect a woman's desire for self-expression and freedom. Now let's move on to the discussion of the theme. Aging is a natural process, and no one can escape from this pungent reality of life. The poem talks about the loneliness that aged people feel when their children are not around. The pain of separation from your loved ones is highlighted in this poem. The feeling of guilt for not being with her mother is also one of the key concerns of the poetess in this poem. So now let's move on to stanza-wise explanation of the poem. First, to begin with lines 1 to line 4. Driving from my parents' home to coaching, last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doze, open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. So dear students, doze refers to sleep here. Open-mouthed means she is sleeping with her mouth open. Ashen here refers to the fact that her face looks pale and lifeless, and corpse is a dead body. Now let's move on to the explanation of the poem. On her way to the Cochin airport, after her visit from her parents' home on Friday, the poetess noticed her mother sleeping beside her in the car. Her mouth was open, her face was pale and lifeless, just like that of a dead body. Now let's move on to the next few lines, that is line 5th to 9th. And realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. Dear students, here sprinting refers to run, merry children refers to cheerful children. Spilling out of their homes refers to rushing out of their homes. Now let's move on to the explanation part of the poem of this few lines. The poet felt grieved to think that old age had started showing on the face of her mother. The poetess was pained to see her mother grow terribly old. In order to divert her thoughts, she looked outside the car. As the car was moving, the young green trees appeared to be running in the opposite direction. She also saw a group of children rushing out of their homes to play. Dear students, the young trees and children represent vibrant youth, which is full of life and energy. Both the young trees and the children present a sharp contrast to the aging mother who was sitting inside the car. So now let's move on to the next few lines, that is lines 10 to 13. But after the airport's security check, standing a few years away, I looked again at her, one pale as a late winter's moon. Dear students, one pale refers to dull and pale. Late winter's moon refers to colorless and pale, like the appearance of the late winter's moon. Now let's move on to the explanation part of the poem. But after reaching the airport and passing through security check, the poetess again looks at her mother, who was standing a few years away from her. Her mother looked lifeless and dull like a late winter's moon. The poetess became sad once again at the very thought that her mother had grown very old and she might have to part with her very soon. This particular thought of the poetess parting with her mother, separating from her mother, has given her a lot of pain in this poem. Okay, so now let's move on to the next few lines, that is lines 14 to 17. And felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, see you soon, Amma. All I did was smile and smile and smile. Dear students, ache here refers to the pain. Childhood's fear refers to the old fear of her childhood days, that she might get separated from her mother anytime soon. So that is what is her childhood fear. She was very possessive about her mother. So when the poetess says her childhood fear, she means to say that the fear that she often used to experience in her childhood tends to surface in her mind even at this age. Okay, that she would get separated from her mother. Okay, now let's move on to the explanation part of the poem. When the poetess was almost leaving and bidding her mother farewell, her old familiar ache, that is her old familiar pain, her childhood fear that she would lose her mother, suddenly came to surface. Hence, to cover up her agony and pain of separation, she puts on a long and cheerful smile on her face. She gave an assurance to her mother that they would meet once again, and kept an artificial smile on her face, so that her mother felt reassured of their meeting once again. Dear students, now let's move on to the recapitulation part of the poem. The poetess feels sad at being separated from her mother. On her way to the Cochin airport, the poetess feels sad to catch a glimpse of her mother's face, in fact, pale and cheerless face, which she compares with a dead body and a late winter's moon. Cheerless situation inside the car has been compared with vibrant and lively ambience outside the car, with examples like sprinting trees and merry children. Here, the old woman represents the pale and cheerless existence of an old age, whereas the sprinting trees and merry children are symbolic of vibrant and active youthful days. While being parted in the airport from her mother, the poetess remembers her old familiar pain which she used to experience since her childhood. What is this familiar ache? The familiar ache refers to the fact that one day she would lose her mother. Here, the mortal nature of human beings has been hinted at by the poetess in this poem. Now, let's move on to the literary devices or the poetic devices used in the poem. First is simile. As you can see on your screen, the examples are given. Her face ashen-like, that of a corpse, one pale as a late winter's moon. Then second example is the personification, trees printing, then symbols and imagery. trees printing, married children, late winter's moon, and the last poetic device used here is repetition, which is thought away, thought away. You can see the phrase thought away being repeated here twice. Then another example is smile and smile and smile. That is also the smile is repeated, okay, several times. So this is the example of repetition. And dear students, that's all about the explanation of the poem. Now for questions and answers of this poem as well as other lessons in the syllabus, please refer to my blog, which is literaturewithmonotosh.blogspot.com. And as you can see on your screen, my YouTube URL is also given. If you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe it, share it with your friends, press the bell icon for notification of every new video that I upload for you and you alone. Until we meet again with a new video, take care and have a nice time.